Wow. All right. All right, time to get started on the stuff. We're working on an AI swarm. Okay. So to catch everybody up to where we're at, we are working on our factories. So we got this, I'm mocking up the data of the Jira into Python so that we can manipulate it and work with it. So we got all this stuff for Jira issue. And so let's start generating stuff with it. So in order to do that, we need to have the API. So for that, I was doing, there's this Jira module, right? And so we have all of these pieces. So we're going to say, we're going to do this, manage issues, epic issues, manage board. We're not going to do sprints or boards. We're just going to manage issues. Okay. So we'll start off here, go to our ChatGPT. I now need you to create the Jira class that has all of these methods, but the methods use the Pydantic models, not primitives. Okay, so see, this is incorrect. This is incorrect because you are using primitives. So use so for instance, now that we're getting more closer to what we want, so what I want is let's actually let's look at it differently. So let's do this, because basically what we want is like a fully mocked version of Jira so that we can manipulate it and So actually we have these factories, and then I have this repository that allows you to create a like a saved version of each of these. So actually, let me go back. I kind of got a little ahead of myself now that, because I'm not. So here we go this way. So I'm gonna go back to here. So we'll just make this like this. There we go. Wait, what? There we go. All right. We got Jira Issue Repository. Okay, so type URL, not serializable. So we need to do this. Need to remove the URL type. This. There you go. Try it again. Okay, so instead, we're going to fix the serialization problem. So the thing is, every time I do something like this, and it's like, this is hard, I don't want to do it, I have to remember that this is the point where other people stopped. So therefore, if I keep going, that separates me from one other person. So go back. So we'll run it and we'll fail the serialization. We'll import it. Okay. So what we do is we go to the base repository. So we're going to go to a new conversation. And we're going to say this, this, this. How can we support JSON serialization for the more specific types? We'll just do serialization, deserialization. Oh, okay. There it goes. All right, perfect. We want no indentation because we want to minimize size. So we just need to patch this up. Where do we patch it? Write data. Oh, there we go. Oh, well, I mean, we already have the whole object. Well, we'll just do the encoder thing for practice, we'll call that. Okay, now we can give it a shot. Oh, yeah. Give it a shot. Nice. Let's try it one more time. Okay. Okay, so now that that's fixed, can you write unit tests to REST? So we want full CRUD. So we don't need this issue data. Because the whole point is we have the factory boy. Use factory instead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, so it is issue. Oh yeah, shout out to the Chatman GPT Discord server. Feel free to join us. Put the link in the chat. All right. So let's run it. Passed. Let's run it till it fails. Test read. Oh, yeah. Maybe we can add delete in Python. Just so we can't have delete in like JavaScript. But whatever. Perfect. So now we have our Jira completely mocked. Now the cool stuff starts. You might be saying, but isn't that cool enough? Not cool enough. We're going to create an experiment. And we're just going to keep it simple. Jira Swarm. Okay. We start our Olama. And so we're going to use the type predictor. Go to DSPy. So what we're going to say is I want you to change this documentation to refer to Jira issues instead. Keep the examples exactly the same, except for change it to Jira and Jira related things. Period. If you're confused, write yourself some notes on what the scope is and then create the new text. No, the input and output should actually use the Jira models. All right, so start incrementally. So the examples in the article don't really make a lot of sense, period. Let's think step by step about better examples using the Jira models that I have provided. So how about we make it predict what a product manager would create based on a description. Yeah, start there. What's up to whoever's in the, oh, we had one person watching. Well, what's up? What's up? Let's take the use case of a product manager trying to input descriptions for user stories and then generate the exact model for insertion into the cloud. Perfect. Okay, so we got user story input. There we go. So then we can say predictor predict. There we go. So let's give it a shot. Oh, so I was using the phi model. I've been using the Quan. So let's do, so we'll do a class. Phi 3 equals so we can do this. We do history rep. We'll just take out the number when all right. And we'll just change the default to when. And there we go. And we just change that. And we'll run it. So let's change the timeout to 30 seconds, and we'll just see if it works at all. Because what we can do, DSPy, let's change it so Just leave it at that. So it's probably so super complicated, and we'll create a stripped down version because it's obvious. So when you look at the Jira models, like this is what the issue looks like. It's issue and all these fields. So I have a smaller version. So we'll work with that first. Can you create a simplified Jira issue model that we can use for generation? Okay. We just as I'm getting it more specific, it's like it should just have strings in it. This is going to be the equivalent of a DTO, but for large language model generation. What would that be called? It's a new pattern. Prompt model. This is a good start, but let's think about it from the perspective of what is required for this to predict the output text of a Jira ticket or whatever. Some of the fields would trigger hallucinations due to a lack of actual information, period. Let's create fields that will just create useful data. What would those be? First, identify the hallucination fields, then identify the other fields. This is a good pattern in general. Okay, so what we would do on the input, though, we would only have a summary and a description. What's up to the person in watching? We're trying to figure out how to generate Jira issues. So far, it's duplicating exactly. So we'll just call it auth. Okay, so it's not expanding. So yeah, we're getting closer. Perfect. There we go. See? Nice. See how much better that is? And we just gave it. Okay. Description, and instead of my command thing is the same as the voice recognition. So let's just grab all this, right? And we're going to go back to ChatGPT, have it do the work. Have this signature GPT. Say, can you make it so that it makes sure the description contains the proper user story format? Okay, this is. So actually, this gives me an idea. So what we need to do, actually, I'm going to go to cursor. So let's see if this gets it going. Perfect. Okay. Do not use the user, create another. So let's see if it understands what I'm talking about. Perfect. So as a developer, or what's up, U1? I know you asked me about. Oh shit! He emerges.
Yeah.
Hello.
What's happening, man?
Sorry to get back to you on the Gherkin stuff. This is why, because I'm working on the Jira story creation stuff, and I didn't want to tell you before I had it ready.
Yeah, no problem, man.
How you been?
Pretty good. Hanging in there.
Nice. Well, I have a pretty cool project on the side that I think you might be interested in. So after the stream, I'll reach out to you about it.
Okay, that'll work. I'm mute out right now, all right?
Cool, no problem.
That's an update of the story then.
So yeah, so U1, interesting story. I don't think he's a developer, but he's been following what I'm doing. So I think he might be the foremost expert on my plans and stuff, because he's probably watched the most amount of me streaming. So it's funny because he mentioned at first that he was learning through osmosis, but that's actually a totally valid, not to say it wasn't, but actually a totally valid skill set. So we're going to be leveraging that now that we're actually going to be getting into production deployments of this stuff. So if we look at this now, imagine, every single developer has to do user stories, but let's look at what we had. All we had to do is say authentication. I want to be able to auth. And it made it implement user authentication system. As a developer, I want to implement an efficient and secure user authentication system so users can log in and access an account. It should include features like password hashing, email verification, possibly multi-factor authentication. Not bad, but we now need to make more user stories. So let's now create a loop. So we will say for how do you do it? A loop in Python. Do I want to do? We'll just do underscore in range. Actually, we'll do this in here. So for underscore in range, there we go. That's pretty cool. So we actually obtain predictor user story input. No, actually, so what we do is instead we say this. So I want to create 5 new user stories based on the first issue that gets created. All right, cool. Okay, so then we have our data retriever or data writer. So what we do is we go to our data writer, and so we can say, we accept, and so we say, for new user stories, we have those already. So then we can say at data writer save the user stories to a CSV. Dope. Okay. And so what's cool about the data writer, if we look at it, is that it actually creates the, it creates the titles dynamically. So that's the thing, is like, it might not look like there's a lot of different stuff going on, but trust me, it's a lot of stuff to get to the point where we can just do forward. So let's see if it works. So it should be writing another one. There we go. Okay. So it's interesting. All right, let's now look at what we got on the file system, userstories.csv. Bingo. Now we have our stories. And so now we can go into here, create another main, def main, or we can, def main. And I just turn this one into main 2. I'm just doing this to show you guys like how it works. So then we do, go back over here. Okay, and so then let's try their model. Cursor small. So use a data retriever to print the contents. Okay, so it didn't get the whole picture, but it's interesting. We're learning, right? We're learning because it's free and fast. So we're just learning how it works. So we got user stories.csv. We can print. Retrieve data. There we go. Got nan, which is fine. But yeah, so now we got the first field, which is so what we need is for the swarm to be able to split it into multiple stories. So we're going to need a type predictor to do that splitting. Oh, shoot, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry, you won. Sharing on YouTube, but not on Discord. Too many systems going on at once. Let's just make sure we're on YouTube. YouTube's working. All right, cool. So we were able to get retrieve the stories. So now what we want to do is take all of this and go to the next level. And here's what we're going to say. We're going to say to the AI, I want to go to the next level. As simple as it sounds. And let's see what the AI thinks is the next level. That's one of the things I explained to you guys, is that it may look like, oh, Sean, you're having the AI do the work for you. Yes, that is part of it. But the other part of it is that I'm actually seeing what the AI thinks about what we're doing, because this has never been done before. We need to take this to the next level. Let's see what it thinks the next level is. Okay, so I don't want it to do that. So now that I know what it's thinking about, what I want to say is, we're going to say, can you create a typed predictor that takes one user story and splits it into n user stories? So let's see if it's actually using. Okay, so yeah, it's okay. I want you to now put all of the code into one file, period, where the first is the single story creation, then the multiple story creation. I want to see them as separate processes. Put them in separate functions as well. Because think about it, if we're able to constantly create more user stories, we can then, so this is the missing aspect that almost every single AI swarm coding system misses, which is the planning phase. And so the whole, I've been on a long journey to figure this out, and it took me getting back to essentially having a job to figure this out, which is funny because, I spent all this time like, it's my own business and stuff like that. But it was when I did some stuff as basically kind of embedded myself in a different team, I was like, oh yeah, these are all the problems that I used to have to deal with all the time. And this is why these guys are having all this trouble. All right. So authentication. And so here we want the user story input for the multiple stories to be the user story. So create user story, single user story. We want the output to be the simple Jira issue. Yeah, simplified Jira issue. Exactly. Right. So then we return issue. Okay, cool. So we got this. And so because we're using, we'll just create a print issue. And actually, we don't need that, because what you can do is you can just do no, it's def return, and it's Sorry, I'm going to go to cursor. And we're just going to say, can you fix this so that the representation that gets printed, returned is correct? Returned is correct. There we go. So now all we have to do is, if we want to, is print issue. That should fix it. And if it doesn't, we'll see. But then also we want to return a list of issues. There we go. Perfect. Oh, not user stories, data. Issues is a list. Oh, yes, then actually I don't need this. This is not helpful. This. Okay, cool. So let's see if we got this to work. Oh, it was the indentations wrong. All right, cool. So user story input create. So story equals why is it? It's supposed to be, oh yeah, because it's fields dot summary, and then story dot fields dot description. Count 5. All right, let's see what it does. Okay. Fields. Okay. Okay. Cool. So let's look. Register for account. Log in with my credentials. Password reset. Multi-factor authentication. User session management. Not bad. Not bad if you ask me. Okay. Oh, and it's saved to the disk. Because then we can do this. Def main. So then what we can do actually is take the code first to Victory Lap 1, then Victory Lap 2 when we do this. Def main. And we do, okay. Use the coder agent to loop through the user stories using the data retriever. Okay, so it's pretty bad. Oh, actually, wait. No, it's not bad. That's the correct format. I'm bad. Not bad, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Let's accept. Okay, so this is. So we're going to. I'm just going to give the string representation of the story and save. And we're going to make this main2. And then we have main1. Okay. Fast. Oh, the data retriever. Oh, yeah, there's something where I want it to be. Oh, yeah, there should be a default query. It's the. So it's go to the data retriever, and the default query is never use return columns. Oh, and I wasn't doing. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Login functionality. Password reset feature. Perfect. Multi-factor authentication. Now, the functionality doesn't actually work, but for a placeholder, it's pretty good to work with. Yeah. So, what did we just do? We just kicked ass. Oh, yeah, victory lap. So, I was able to go from just saying, I want to be able to authenticate to the system, right? This is all we started off with. And we ended up with, while it's not fantastic code, user registration, right? And let's see if it wrote the files to disk anywhere. Or it wrote them in temp. It writes them to temp. But basically, login function, like these placeholders, these are enough placeholders for me to look at them and say, oh, okay, now I know how I want to implement this. So for instance, I already thought about how I want to implement it. And so That's a good place. File name. So we have other older coder agents. Yeah, okay. So yeah, here. So it's funny, it's like I'm trying to think of user stories for me to build this system. And like, as I'm going through it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I'm building this. So what we're going to do is now we're going to grab the Jira Storm file. And so say we have, oh yeah, I already have agents and stuff that I was working on in a different file. So yeah, so you can see here, definition of done agent. Yeah. What's up, people in the chat watching? Give you guys 100% emoji. Is that how you do it? More emotes. All right. So yeah, so we're working on our plans. So the thing is that we have these user stories, right? So what we need to figure out is how do we go now from the user story? I mean, I know how to do it, but like this thing about the next logical step, right? So what do we have? And it's not perfect, but it's something. So we have the part that creates the user stories, starts with one, can create more, it then took those and wrote code. We write the code. We need to know about the project structure. That's where the README comes in, right? That reminds me. So there's this website called readme.so, readme.so, and they're pretty cool because they have a little README creator, right? So let's do this. Demo, deployment, documentation, environment variables, FAQ, features, installation lessons, optimizations, roadmap, run locally, support, tech, running test, usage examples. Okay. So now we have a lot of pieces for a README. So now what we can do is we can go to our user story prediction stuff and say, now let's create typed predictors for each section of the README and then combine them all together into one markdown file, period. This is going to be in a new module. Okay, so when we look at this, it's like duplicating itself. So in reality, it should just take the project title as the input. So it got a little confused. But I mean, this is good because we're learning about typed predictors. Now, this, I realize, is where we're going to go to my this is exactly why I created the domain-specific language. So if we go to DSL, we go to examples, salt corn plugin generator. Watch this. Oops. We're going to say, instead of that, in a new convo, this and this. I'm going to copy it. And you see how it has the commented out name of the title? That's because I want to do this. YAML, pound, and then I want to say readme, readme, what is it? I call it YAML. And let's just see how it what it does. Okay, so it went straight into, it did not pick up, I didn't give it instructions, which makes sense. So say, so I'm gonna say, I want you to think step by step, classic, about how to create a new DSL YAML file to generate readmes like the salt corn, period. Follow the same pattern. Okay, so there's signatures. So let's now it got 2 right. So but let's see how many we selected. So we can just count by this 1. Oh wait, no, by sub. So 1, 2, no, 1. Okay. It's space. Okay, it counts those. Select. Okay. Oh, so here it is. Okay. 1, 2. Well, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 17. And we'll say there should be 17 signatures in the YAML file, which I know sounds like a lot. Okay, so you see the inputs. And so what we're going to do is look at the things, how the args go from one to the next. This should still work. So, but we'll just. That's the thing. What's funny is I have to remember, like, it's like, man, this is a lot of stuff that I'm creating. Then I have to remember, dude, just try to create all of this stuff by hand. And then I'm like, oh yeah, this is a lot of work to do. And so like me spending this time to kind of like go through it, it's like, all right, you got the YAML file. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to go again to the salt corn and say, we're going to say each, say args, we're going to say, so the thing is we can't aggregate in here. Well, we'll try it. Can you sort these by priority or where they would be filled out in the planning process? Period. I then want to aggregate into each step to build towards a bigger result. And so we're going to say the only input is the user input. The only input to start off with will be the user input. How does that change what you have created? We are using generative AI in order to plan. So this is a new paradigm. We're not going to have this information up front. The goal is to have you generate the information for us to then supply it to another component that will actually build out this preemptive README. Working backwards README. Working backwards README. Period. Write an article about working backwards README as if it was written by the Amazon team that created the concept of working backwards press release. Okay, so see, so the point is that I will not actually have any of this. I will just have a description of what I want. So how can we use the domain-specific language and its arguments properly in order to generate these ideas? The current DSL that you have created is incorrect. What are the mistakes? And so like I always say to you guys that know DSPy is think about how long this would have taken you to create if you're doing this manually. So yeah, you see how now it understands every input should be the project overview? Perfect. So it was funny as David said, like about the YouTube guy, a lot of other stuff, but basically he was like, it looks like a lot of what you're doing is just using Chat GPT. And I was like, yeah, that's a lot of what I do because I'm not going to type this stuff out. Oh yeah, and this doesn't support Olama, so let me make it so that it supports Olama as well. So what we're going to do, we'll go to PyCharm, and we're going to do a Jira Swarm, and actually we're going to make a Jira package and move it into there. And so the name is actually the class name. Class is a reserved word, so I might change that, but not now. DSL. Where's the pipeline executor? Okay, so we got the DSL pipeline. We got to add support for the different the local models. So let's see where that falls into place. Predict, nope. Pipeline executor. We're going to use the model. So this is why everything has Pydantic models, is so that I can actually go and find the usage. So I do find usage. I can then go and find where language model config, right? Default. If set lm get language model instance. So yeah, config, DSPy. Yeah, see, so it goes DSPy, config name, class. All right, cool. So that means that I should be able to do this. The default will be, let's find the init. It is, where is it? Configure LM instance. Oh, the instance is at the end. Olama local. Okay. Olama local goes into here. That's the name. Arguments, max tokens. We don't need that. It can do a mad amount of tokens. The model name, though, args. No, that's not. Args are top level. Args. Model. And my favorite model right now is the Quen Instruct. Shout out to Alibaba. They made a badass model. All right. And the smart one's GPT-4. Why not? We'll put it all together at a bang. All right. So there's a lot of stuff, I know. Let's add a little print statement to the step. Oh, okay. It has that. It logs it. All right. Now that we've got that in our swarm file, we got all this. Let's first create. We have pipeline executor, execute pipeline, DSL directory. Okay. Well, anyway, we got execute pipeline, print context. So we're going to say we're just going to call it like Jira README. Just because we're going to say main, execute pipeline. Let's see what the DSL directory is. Source directory, DSL. No, that's not. Okay, so there is no source. Yeah, there's no DSL there. So we look at the source directory. All right, it's a mess, but we're in our. Oh yeah, no, it's the DSL directory. It's in the examples. All right, whatever. We got it right here with us. So we delete all this. We just say readme generator YAML, and we're going to say initial. So, it's because we accidentally closed it. That's why. Yeah, init CTX. All right, cool. So what are we making? We are making a what is it? Sorry. Init CTX. We're calling it user input. That's what it is. So we're saying our user input which is what are we making? We're making a AI swarm for Jira, Confluence, Slack. What's another one? Google Workspace. Why not, right? Go for the gusto. I think that's it. We don't need this. We don't need this. And let's run it. Okay. Column 5. Oh, yes. That's not how it works. Step module, okay. Okay, global signatures. Sig key. Oh. Okay, so the whole point is that the module refers to the signature, and you should be getting it from the module if it's not there. All right. It's another thing, guys. Domain-specific languages, very difficult. That's why people don't do them. I mean, I guess that is mostly life, right? Why don't people do stuff? Because it's hard. Module. There's no module definition. There should be a module. Okay, module def. Create signature. Create. There's no signature class in. Wait, let's see why this works and why this doesn't. Module signature, that works. Project overview module. Project overview signature. Signature project overview. So that's the thing, it should be working. Step. Okay, we're on this step. And we have our module. So we're going to stop. Because what we're going to say is, wait. Yeah, see signature meta. I already have it. So if for sig key and global signatures, or is that's what it is. Okay. Cool. So one, we had that mistake is equals to. I always mix those up. So here we got further along, sig key. Module definition is none. step. There's another way. We need to look up the module definition. This makes my brain hurt. Because if we go here, we're in 5. So we go to console, we go to pipeline. See, we do pipeline dot config or dot modules. No, dot. Yeah, see, we have all these configs, global signatures. Current step. If I do steps, do the steps have signature in them? Okay. So let's take the steps, let's take the signatures out of the steps. Okay, so what we're going to say is we're going to take this. Can you move the signature from the module into the step? Perfect. Got the signature key. All right. Perfect. We got one generation. All right. Okay. Okay, so let's see if we get prefix to work. Mm-hmm. Prefix works. I mean, it's there. Cool. So what we need is the doc strings and the description to be much more descriptive. That's one of the things. I need the doc strings and descriptions in the signatures to be much more verbose so that the content that gets generated is not just a duplicate of the summary. So what we do is we go back to our README SO and we grab this and we say like this. So look at each example to determine how to shape the output. My watch says I need to stand up, which I've been doing the whole time. Thank you, watch. So I just want you guys to think about, if you know anything about DSPy, is just look at when I ran it, how much stuff got generated, and just think about how long it would take you to do the same amount of work if you were creating the modules by hand. Just think while we're working on this. Because this easily could be put into a Jinja template and rendered to file if you want. If that's your thing. Oh, that's what it's. Actually, because this is Jinja. Well, what we'll do is we'll have each part write to the disk, I think, or where is it? Jira README. Okay. give that a shot. I think we'll try this and this. Check it out. All right. Now that we got that, let's run it again. Oh, and actually what we'll do is we'll just, instead of printing the context, or I mean printing the step, well, actually we'll just run it. We'll just let it run. So, oh, I'm going to show it what it gets output. This is going to teach it what's going on. And I can just ask it, like, I don't think that it's working. How can you improve the signatures to make sure that it is hallucinating to create? And as I'm working on this, I think there's going to need to be, but I mean, this is perfect. Like, imagine I'm able to create like a huge README for a fake project, how much value that would provide in terms of then being able to feed that to a code generator. Because that's the whole thing that every other code generator is missing, which I don't know, it's not very easy to do, which is, let's imagine an entire project from scratch, which is, when I think about it, very, very hard, which is why people don't do it. It's the thing. I was talking to a friend of mine today who's helping me out with one of our viral stunts that we're going to be doing. And he was saying, like, like, there's people doing this stuff, and that's true. But there's this Y Combinator. And the thing about the stuff that I've seen out there, it's like, well, I'm sure the people that did it think that it's hard. It's actually not that difficult, which is why a lot of this stuff that's out there, I don't have my own version of, just because it's too easy. And I know for a fact that if somebody like me shows up to some of these systems, it's not going to be a competition. So it's like, I'm going to push myself into a place where it's like so complicated that I can make it easy for me, but not where other people can match it. So let's go back. So. Oh yeah, it's. Okay. So do 5 console. Okay, so let's add wording like synthesize mock data so that the language model knows that we want it to generate new text, not repeat what's currently there. How can we spark the creativity of the language model? Make sure to include that in each signature in a different wording. And I think I have an idea. Okay. So it's kind of, I think, yeah, there it goes. All right, much better. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the project overview like a Python dictionary or something where it's not you'll see the prefix is not going to be something standard like this. So that way it doesn't like copy it word for word. I'll show you guys what I mean. So we do prefix. And so what I'm doing, I'm about to end here. I'm just adding a prefix to kind of kick it off to make it maybe generate some different code. All right, let's run it. This is the last run, and then I'm going to call it. Okay, yeah, see, so it's project demo section, project overview. Deployment section. Yeah, see how it's. All right, we'll do one more, actually. We'll just do all GPT-4o because the local model obviously can't figure it out. So we'll just try it GPT-4o. All right. Okay. What's completion tokens? Really? Okay, well, four, whatever it is, 4K it is. I haven't eaten dinner. I'll just take them with me. Oh, you know what we can do also is once this is done or once this runs, I'm going to just take it and put it into Chat GPT, the client, and have it run it and see what happens. What's interesting is because I made it spit out a dictionary to start off with. Oh no, it might be it's because it's a dictionary in there anyway. Oh, and so the reason why the args keep growing is because it's a it's a dictionary of all the values in there from the different pieces. Yeah, see, so it's like, it's making interesting stuff. But let's also try the ChatGPT version of that, which is, I'll show you guys. So it's like this. I'll just copy it. And so watch this. Well, just to see what the results are, right? Because it's like, just because I'm making this thing doesn't mean that it's great. So they say, I want to create an AI swarm system that can work with Jira, Confluence, Slack, Google Workspace. I want to use Nuxt.js for the front end. Middle. Python for the backend. And we're going to, we will use CSVs instead of a database. So you can see, okay, it didn't change it. So, because I forgot to tell it. So use the example template format for a README above, but change it to be relevant to the tech stack and requirements I have just given you. Do not duplicate the README. There should be no overlap in content. Okay, so it's a start, right? Oh, okay, cool. So now we have, it looked like the whole thing ran, right? So let's, oh, okay. So it crashed on the very end, which is fine because we got the console. And we'll just grab this. So this is all the text that was generated. Let's see how much it is. Let's see. Did we generate so much text that ChatGPT can't handle it? Can you convert this dictionary into the README? Looks pretty clean to me. Okay, so you saw what the README that I generated was. You can see now, once I gave it that data that we generated with GPT-4, how different the output I'm getting from this is, right? Right, this is very, very different response. So this is the kind of the power of what I'm talking about. Is even though the system didn't fully work and we still needed to fuck around with it and a lot of stuff, watch how much stuff it's creating, right? If I have it now give this back to the user story creator, now we're in business. So watch this. We can say, now create gherkin scenarios for every business user story within the README. And we'll just say 50 gherkin. See? Let's see how well your product manager does with this stuff. I got to go. So thanks for watching, guys, and check you out next time.